Welcome to the Mrs. R Relevant Daily Draft Podcast, joined by Dalton and Chris, and we're about to dive into some defensive line prospects. But before we do that, Chris, it is Monday night. It is good to see you. How are things going with you right now?
I'm doing well. We're actually going to start picking up football this week. I got a surprise guest who I can't tell you yet because it hasn't happened, but it's from a draft professor, so you guys got to check it out. He'll be dropping on tomorrow. Ernest Silva is going to be sitting down on Wednesday with us, and he's going to talk Texas football, which quarterbacks, which players are standing out, which the best Texas football team. And once again, Marcel Dorff and I are going to be sitting down later tonight, and it's actually up right now. We talked UFC 321, the passing of Rick Frufus, UFC Vancouver, and all the good stuff. So, yeah, I have busy plate, but I never miss a chance to come on this show.
Oh, we love having you. Dalton, that Giants loss was tough. I was pulling for Jackson Dart.
I mean, man, that's a tough one. Yeah, 33 points given up in the fourth. That's one of the toughest losses I've seen in a while. Hopefully we can bounce back from that, but I don't know, man.
So I think my line for the Giants loss was that Jackson Dart performance in a loss may have saved Dable his job. And the reason I say that is that, like, if a new coach comes in, would they want Jackson Dart or another quarterback? Like, my opinion is that Dart having success is really the only way that Dable would be able to be retained as coach. So that's my instinct, but I know I'm in the minority that thinks that Dable stays for 2026. But being a Bills fan, I have a lot of respect for Brian Dable. So
I like him, but I don't know. I think it's time to give somebody else a job. I think Dart's good enough. Another coach would want him, hopefully.
I mean, that's the question. Like, if Mike McCarthy says, hey, I want the Giants job, do you pass on him for Dayball, or do you take a guy you know is a proven head coach and won't lose his temper or lose his patience?
I think Dable has that team galvanized. That team is playing hard for him. And my opinion is, even when the Giants had Daniel Jones, they were playing hard. They just had Daniel Jones. Right? Where, like, ultimately to me, if your team is playing hard for the head coach, don't change head coaches. Right? Because, like, we can see what's going on with some of the other teams like Miami. Miami's not playing hard for their coach. It's the exact opposite. That's when you know the coach has lost the locker room. That's when you know you have to get rid of him. But I am anxious to see what transpires with the Giants, because right now I think I updated the draft order in the simulator. They're pretty close to a top 10 pick. I think they were picking like 11th maybe, but I'd have to go back and double check. We are going to be diving into some defensive line prospects for the NFL draft. And let me pull that up so everybody can see who we're going to talk about. So we are going to talk about Tim Keenan from Alabama, Zane Durant from Penn State, Xavian Harris from Ole Miss, Kayden McDonald from Ohio State, Eric O'Neal from Rutgers, Teitum Tuioti from Oregon, Anto Saka from Northwestern, and Matayo Uiagalelei from Oregon. And let me advance this. So, Dalton, what do you have on Tim Keenan?
Yeah, you can see his size, 6'2", 320. Really short for a D tackle, and that does show up on tape. The length, the lineman can really get to his chest and push him back a lot of times. But besides that, he's a pretty good run stopper. Good lateral burst for his size. Good hand firing. Good timing with him right on the snap. Really good club swim combo move that's effective against the run. And he does have natural leverage, so size does help him sometimes. He can get underneath the lineman pads and push him back. And he's nearly impossible to move on drive blocks too. He can really stand his ground. Good character and his work that he has good work ethic. That showed. He was 380 before, and then he lost 60 pounds to get it down to 320. Become a little more athletic, try to become a better pass rusher, but he's not a great pass rusher still. That's his thing. He's not going to offer much production at all. The sacks are nothing in the next level. And he leaves his gap too much rushing upfield in the run too. So allows a lot of cutbacks. So I'm not huge on him. He's going to be a 2-down guy, I think, in the NFL. Maybe I think a round 5 prospect.
Okay. Chris, what do you have on Tim Keenan?
I mean, the plus side, he has the mentality of the coaches love. As you said, he was at 380. He's cut down to 326. He went disciplined nutrition, training. He's an excellent run stuffer, as they said. He came back this year. I mean, he had ankle surgery earlier on that most people are saying, hey, look, this could be 7-8 games because he had a tightrope surgery for a high ankle sprain, and he still was back, right around the Georgia game and playing, even though he wasn't probably 100%. But his feeling was, look, this is my team. I need to be there. I need to show up. He is the leader of Alabama. He is the guy that does the dirty work, helps the linebackers out by drawing double teams, making sure guys can't attack them. He's just the problem is just one, the health issues because he missed 5 games. You wonder, is this going to be a nagging thing going forward? He's 6'2", 320, so you're always worried, will he balloon up? And yeah, he's not a pass rusher. He is a run stuffer. So you wonder at what point is it going to he'll be maybe a 1-down guy. He plays in first down, and then that's it. So he'll have a spot. He's probably 5th or 6th round. It depends on the ankle, though. I mean, he could go a little bit higher, but right now teams are going to go a big, heavy-set guy. You've already had ankle surgery. We might pass on that a bit.
Yeah, and that seems to be the trend, right? So like Jordan Phillips and C.J. West were both highly rated by the draft community last year, but they went day 3 because their pass rushing upside was low. And it sounds like Keenan has a similar profile. So if you're a 2-down defensive tackle, a day 3 grade sounds about right based upon history. The next player we're going to talk about is the opposite of Tim Keenan in many, many ways. But Chris, what do you have on Zane Durant, the defensive lineman from Penn State?
So he is that freak fast defensive tackle. He's been clocked at a 4.66 40. When he's on, like the Northwestern game, he's all over the place. He's diving in there, swim moves, getting tackles. He had 8 tackles, 5 solo, 1 sack. The motor's always running. He's always just attacking. He has excellent gap penetration. We saw him in the Northwestern game. He's squat at 6'1", so he doesn't have to worry about guys getting underneath his pads. He can slip in there. Lateral quickness is there. The power is there in terms of when he first comes after it. So that's the good part. The bad part is it's just you see it. I mean, he's 6'1", 290. And now in the modern NFL, when guards are about 6'5", 340, built like tanks, he can get pushed around. We saw that against Oregon at times. He just literally got pushed back. Oregon went, we're going to run right at him. He's not that – we don't have to worry about him mauling our guards. His pass rush is still developing in terms of moves. Like he relies – like a lot of these guys, they rely on their God-given talent, the burst. And when that first move is countered, it's like, oh, crap. He's a pass rusher. So, look, he'll go – teams will go probably 3rd, 4th round. They'll look and go, well, at worst, we can put him on 1st and 3rd downs. We can mix him around, maybe a 4-3, tackle, edge. We need pass rush. This is the guy. Zane Durant is your guy. He's not going to be a consistent all 4 down or all 3 down defensive tackle because just the size is not there. And he has trouble against bigger, powerful guards.
Okay. Dalton, what do you have in Zane Durant?
I mean, yeah, pretty much. I agree with a lot what he said. I mean, he's just going to be a pass rushing D tackle. You're not going to want him to stop the run, 3rd and 1. You don't want him in there. He's really short arms. You know, he can get to his chest really easy. But he does show flashes of times of being like dominant at penetrating the gap, even in the run. But it depends on what the team he's facing, what scheme they're running, that kind of thing. He does anchor against the run better than expected, but then he double team, it's over with. He gets swashed out and pushed backwards. I think he could end up being underdrafted just because he could end up developing a lot more pass rush moves in the league, maybe, and get to be a pretty good pass rush and D tackle. And that's hard to find in the NFL. So I think he's a good value pick, but right now he's around 5 still, just because he has limitations.
Okay. So the next player, Xavian Harris, the defensive tackle from Ole Miss. Dalton, what do you have on this large human?
Yeah, he is really big and he's athletic, man, for his size. He can really move down the line. He has a lot of pass rush moves you wouldn't expect from a guy that size. He like swims or rips. He has a good spin move even. He can convert speed to power pretty easily. Really long arms, given his length, his height, and he has 3 sacks this season already. He only had 2.5 coming in, so it looks like he's developing his pass rushing a lot more this year. He can execute stunts really well too. They actually do that at Ole Miss a lot, and he's the main guy doing it. And sometimes he's just too strong for centers. You see a lot of centers, especially in this class, like 300 pounds, 290. They can't hold up against this guy. He just pushes them back really easily. He needs to get better double teams for sure, though. He's such a big target, and his leverage isn't great. He's natural. His pad level is really high always. So when he gets double teamed, he gets pushed back really easy. And once he gets in the pocket, a lot of times, if it's a mobile quarterback, he can't finish the play. They are able to get around him, so he's able to win the battle off the line of scrimmage, get to the pocket, but he's not able to finish. So that limits his upside a little bit. But I think I like him more than most people. I got a round 3 grade on him just because I see the pass rush potential.
And Chris, where are you and Xavian Harris from Ole Miss?
This is going to be one of the most controversial players in this draft. Because if you go by numbers, if we're going like PFF, all that stuff, you're going, this guy should be a first-round pick. He is a grizzly bear of a man. He's 6'7", 330 pounds. He's excellent blocking kicks. When he's on, he plays with a high motor who consistently brings the effort. He's shown work ethic on the field. He's gotten better with his pass rush moves. He has elite hands. When he gets onto an offensive lineman, he can just shove them back and maul them. I mean, you see it on tape that when he's on, he is dominant. He is just a force. It's the weaknesses are, one, he's a very big guy. So you always worry, like, is he going to eat himself out of a league? It sounds stupid. He's 6'7", 330. All of a sudden, once you get that money, is he going to take care of himself, or is he going to balloon up to 380 and you're going, crap? He can't get on the field. Double teams are a challenge for him. He doesn't. He's just big, but there's times you see it's like you wish his body was a little more, defined, is that he doesn't have his big belly hanging out. The pad level can get high because he's so damn big. He's 6'7", 330. And we got to mention it. I know I get crapped on for the PFF grades and everything, but look, he's been arrested multiple times. DUI, reckless driving, being a minor in possession, arrested again last year on domestic violence charges, obstructing arrest. And I get it. We're just talking about the football player, but I mean, Dalton, you can agree. If you're an NFL team, are you going to draft this guy, give him a high paycheck, and not worry about, well, crap, what else is going to come up? What else could happen? What happens when he gets money? Is there going to be a domestic violence charge? I mean, I could see him going probably third. I could see him coming off the board because it all depends on what else we're going to find and go. And teams might go, I don't want another, Aaron Hernandez or Albert Hainsworth that I got to worry about. Screw that.
Yeah, and to your point, so the third round grade that I heard Dalton say, Chris, are you close to round 3 on him?
I can't tell you because again, okay. If it's just a player, yes, it's a third round grade. But we got to mention the personal life because if that comes, like if we find out, oh yeah, by the way, that assault was he choked a woman out. How many teams are going to go, yeah, we're out. Peace.
And that was where I was going to go. So if we flash back to right after the draft in 2025, one of the things that happened is second-round picks got guaranteed contracts.
Yeah.
And I think that second-round guarantee could be what would scare a few more teams away from Harris. Because my understanding is, he's been covered on the channel numerous times. We've talked about him in the Draft Professor chat. There are people that have a top 50 grade on him. There are people that could see him going in round 1, with the biggest caveat being the off-field things. You have to be a team like the Cincinnati Bengals or the Philadelphia Eagles that tend to absorb those types of things into their culture. So, and I definitely also want to give a shout out, Chris, because you mentioned the block kicks. So your floor with Harris is a special team stud, right? Like when you're bringing him in, he's going to be an immediate contributor on special teams. And even if he takes a few games or seasons to adapt to the NFL, you're going to get a day one contributor on special teams. So that was Xavian Harris from Ole Miss. The next player we're going to cover is Kayden McDonald, the defensive tackle from Ohio State. Chris, what do you have?
I started to fall in love with this guy because you look at him and he's an elite space eater. Like, he will occupy double teams. Against Washington, we saw just how powerful he was. 7 tackles, 4 for solo, 2 sacks. One of them, he just literally takes the guy and throws him almost into the backfield, takes down the quarterback. He's done that on several occasions where he's just a big enough, powerful enough guy where he can throw guys around, collapse the pocket with just sheer power. There's no finesse. It's just bull rush power. He's nimble for a guy his size. Like, you look at it, it's like he'll get after people and he'll chase after them. He won't always get him, track him down, but he can still move for a big guy. I loved his game against Texas where Texas couldn't run the middle. They couldn't do anything, and he was partly the reason. He's won at Ohio State. He's a big factor there. It's going to be tricky, I think, in terms of the numbers. Like, okay, when he goes to the combine, how many teams are going to look and go, the arm is a little bit short. He's not that really fast. I mean, you start nitpicking, and look, he needs more recognition of when double teams are coming. Right now he's winning because he's just so damn big and talented. Does that translate to the NFL? Smarter players are going to be able to take care of him very easily because his moves are very predictable. I'm going to come in, I'm going to bulldoze you. I have a second-round grade for him right now. I could easily see him sneak into the late first round because he has the pedigree. He has done a great job in Ohio State. You know that Matt Patricia's going to talk this guy up and get into people's ear about, look, he can do everything. He can, clog the middle. He can pass rush. You just got to, you got to discover it. As a player, if you're just going on what he does in the field, this is a guy teams will go, yes, he is a 3-down player.
Nice. And I've heard similar on McDonald when we've covered him before. Dalton, what do you think of Kayden McDonald from Ohio State?
Yeah, he's really played great this year. I mean, Ohio State's D-line's loaded, like always, seemingly. But this guy's really been the leader of it, it seems like. You can't do anything against Ohio State's defense. You can't run up the middle. And he's probably the biggest reason why. People keep saying he didn't have enough pass rush, but when I was watching film, man, he really pushes the pocket back. He's so strong. He can push almost any lineman back. I don't know if he's going to do that in the NFL as much, but I still think he'll be very productive. You don't have many pass rush moves. He does just win on effort mostly. That's the only thing I'm worried about. But I think you can coach that up a little bit. And, man, he's just you can't run against him. He's just a classic nose tackle. I think you can make him the nose tackle if you want to. And then he can still rush the passer on third down. So I got a ground 3 grade on him. Just because I don't think his pass rush is where it needs to be. And he's a little short for my liking. You can get to his chest if you're a good lineman and you got long arms.
Okay. So now we're going to flip to some edges. Dalton, what do you have on Eric O'Neill from Rutgers?
Yeah, transfer from James Madison. Had a great year last year. Stepped up competition level a little this year. Hasn't produced as well, but he's still been all right. He has a relentless motor. Never stops, pursues, and chase downs plays that most guys wouldn't get to. Great flexibility to sink his hips around the edge, and he plays a lot everywhere along the line. He can play 4-eye inside and wide down outside. I know he's only 261, so you probably won't want him playing inside the NFL, but he proves he can do it a little bit. He has a good counter move on his pass rush after the speed rush is established early in the game, and the linemen get used to that. He has spins and counters that he can go off with that. Really high IQ for him, and he recognizes schemes and protection really good, but I just don't think he has the athletic upside to make him a big-time prospect. He can't really drop in coverage. Can't really defend the run great. He's pretty much just a pass rusher, and I don't think he's amazing at that. So I got around 6th grade on him, but what do you think, Chris? Are you higher on him?
I'm actually lower. Look, I want to love the player because when, he's a success story. He's worked his ass off. He went from Long Island College to then James Madison to he got his dream, which is Rutgers. And the effort is there. The pass rush moves are there. You see him. And when he's playing competition that's, decent to below his level, he'll thrive. Like the Iowa game, 4 tackles, 3 solo, 1 sack. He was in the backfield. He's chasing down Mark Gronkowski. He's doing everything you want him to do. And then I watched tape of the Oregon game and the Washington game, and that's what worried me. I didn't see him. And then he started looking more closer, and he'll get moved around. He's a smaller defensive end at 6'3", 261. I think he's more closer to 6'2", 250. He's not. There's nothing elite about him. He's very good, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just for the NFL, you need either elite speed like a David Bailey, or you need to be a big monster like a Keldrick Falk, or Ruben Bain, or Matayo Uiagalelei. That's what you need. So, look, some team will take it probably either the 7th round or undrafted free agent and look and go, he's a hustle player, probably do play special teams, probably situational pass rush once in a while, but he just looks like a Division 1 AA player who's good enough to play in Division 1, but against the elite, he just disappears.
Okay. So love hearing that about Eric O'Neill. The next player we're going to cover is Teitum Tuioti from Oregon. Chris, what do you have?
It's funny. He's, of all the Oregon players, he's the one that seems to fly under the radar, and yet I loved the Penn State game. I loved. He was 5 tackles, 4 solo, 1 sack. He was stuffing the run. He's all over the place. He was chasing down people. Look, he has a motor that goes for days. He has excellent closing burst. He will, as soon as he gets within a couple of steps, he will really attack the ball carrier. He's a thick guy at 6'3", 265, but he looks physically bigger. And he can drop into coverage. He can play the run. He is a versatile guy. It's there. You see the tools are there. He's still raw, and he needs work. He probably needs to get it stronger. The pass rush moves need a little more variety. It's still just I'm going to attack you with speed. I'm going to just hustle you. He's good enough to do it, but against better people, he will struggle. I could easily see him come back in a draft, back to college for another year. It's Oregon. They have money. He will probably look and he'll hear a grade of 3rd, 4th, maybe 5th round between there, and he'll look and go, well, I'll stay for another year, develop, and I'll come back out in 2027.
Okay. So, Dalton, what do you have on Teitum Tuioti?
I like how versatile he is. He can play edge or outside linebacker, standing up. The end, he can move down, and he is really good in coverage for his size. I think that's something that 260. Most guys can't drop in coverage effectively at all. He can and not get exposed too badly. So I like his versatility, but I just don't think he's great at one thing. He's good at a lot of things. Good run stopper, can set the edge. He can get after the passer. He can drop in coverage, but there's not one skill that jumps off the page. But I really think he would be good in any defensive scheme. That's the good thing about him. You don't have to D coordinator changes one year. It doesn't matter. I think he can just find another spot. Scheme versatility is huge. I like him probably around 4, I think, right now. But I think if he has a good combine and if he runs faster than people think, he could shoot up boards. But he could also come back. I agree with Chris.
Yep. Okay, so we have a couple of players to go. We're saving the best for last. So Anto Saka from Northwestern. Dalton, designated pass rusher or 3-down player?
Oh, I think he's a designated pass rusher. In the run game, he just, undersized. Questionable arm length, being 6'4", 255, but they don't look as long as most people that are 6'4". Even as a pass rusher, though, he's predictable at times. I don't love this guy. I watched a lot of film on him, and he did good against the teams, but when he played the good teams, like even Penn State, he didn't show up a lot this week. 12 career sacks, 3 of them this year, but I just don't love his pass rushing moves. He converts speed to power, he can cave in the pocket, but if that doesn't work, he's really predictable because that's all he got really right now. And he needs to have a spin move or something because he's really athletic. I feel like he could develop more. But right now, he's definitely just a pass rusher. And I don't know, around 7, undrafted. I just need to see more out of him, more production.
Okay. Chris, where are you on Anto Saka from Northwestern?
Same with – I agree with Dalton except for this caveat. He's a physical freak. He's 6'4", 260, but he's incredibly explosive, incredibly fast. He was a high school sprinter, and you can see that on plays. This summer he jumped a vertical 36.5 inches, broad jump 10.4. The pass rush is there. I mean, so this was gonna be frustrating for us. We're gonna see this here. We're gonna pick up all this, and Dalton and I agree it's probably around that 5th or 7th round. Then he's gonna go to the combine. And Dalton, you know what I'm talking about.
That's true.
Oh, my God. Look at those arms. Look at those biceps. Look at those calves. Jim, you and me, calf talk. 5 o'clock. Look at those ham and eggers. I guarantee you some team's going to look at him and go, those magic 3 words we all hate. 4 words. We can fix him. Coach him up. And I'm guaranteeing you he will probably go around 3rd, 4th round because some team's going to look and go, we just get him in the system. Man, look at that speed. Oh, my God. He was at Northwestern, so he was the only guy that, we had to worry about Northwestern. I get, coach, and there's going to be a D-line coach going to go, give me 2 or 3 years, and he'll be a 10, 15 sack guy. People fall in love with him because, again, everything we say about the play is correct. He needs all this work. You can't teach speed. You can't teach that body. And again, the NFL, people are going to love that.
Yeah, so it's interesting because the 2 grades that you guys gave were actually the lowest grades I've heard on Saka this entire cycle. I believe he made Dane Brugler's preseason top 50 or top 100. I'd have to go back and double check, but I remember we did, Bill Sparks, Sam Teets, and I, we did like a Dane Brugler edge reaction show. And he was one of the guys that Dane had pretty high. So I think he's day 2 because of the athletic traits. Teams want a player that can rush the passer. Just fundamentally, you want, and those players don't grow on trees. So I'm really curious to see how he handles the All-Star circuit, whether it's the Senior Bowl or a different bowl game, because I think that's going to solidify his draft stock, right? Can he hold up against larger offensive tackles. I think Dalton, you pointed out, when he plays lower competition, he stands out. It's the Oregons and the Penn States of the world where he disappears, and those are NFL caliber offensive tackles on both teams. So definitely makes sense. So the last player we're covering is Matayo Uiagalelei from Oregon. Chris, where are you on Matayo?
He's my edge 3. There's Ruben Bain, there's Keldrick Falk, and then there's Matayo. I say that because unlike, Cassius Howell, he physically fits everybody. He's 6'5", 275. He attacks people. He has a nasty temperament. He will set the tone for the defense, attack running backs, attack tight ends. He just, when he's on, he is a force. We saw that at Penn State with 4 solo tackles, 1 sack, contained the edge, made life living hell for Drew Aller to the point where I think Drew Aller had, PTSD. When he's on, damn, he is good. He has natural instincts for the football. He's like last year's game-sealing interception against Wisconsin and multiple passes batted down the line. He has that rare athletic ability that he can play stand-up with his hand up or down. He is that physical, specimen who was a former tight end, converted to defensive end, and he's picked it up and he's done excellent. The pass rush still needs work in terms of, it's just he's such a good athlete. He's going to all right, I'm just going to blow by the guy. I'm just going to beat him up. And when that happens, you wonder, does he have enough counter moves? The Indiana game was what made me worry because when he played with his hand down, the bigger offensive line were able to sort of contain him. He gets frustrated. He can be too over aggressive. He's going to need the right coach to go, look, you cannot just be the greatest athlete on the field. There are other guys. They will figure it out. But I still look and it's like, doesn't matter if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, if you are the Miami Dolphins, if you're the New England Patriots, you look at him and go, this is what we want defensive end, edge rusher, power linebacker. This is the guy. To me, he is a first-round pick. Teams are going to love him because there's still enough you can mold. He's not the finished product, but he's still good enough he can play right away.
Dalton, where are you on Matayo Uiagalelei?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything he said. Actually, late first rounder to me, but there's nothing to not really like about his game. He can contribute on all 3 downs. This is your prototypical 3-down DN. He's going to give you some pass rush. He's going to set the edge in the run game. He's going to do everything he's asked to do. I don't think he's going to be your, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, sack production kind of guy. So if you need that, that's not your guy. But that's hard to find. Really hard to find. He's just so solid every aspect of the game. Very physical. Really fast for his size, man. His first step, he can get around the tackle before they even touch him sometimes, and it's crazy. You can play standing up. You can play in his hand in the dirt. I just like his versatility a lot, just like the other Oregon guy. Both of them are pretty versatile. But Matayo's got more upside, and his pass rush arsenal still pretty raw, and he still gets to the quarterback. 4 sacks this year, so I think he really developed into even a better player. So yeah, I like him late first.
I like how both of you were able to point out that there's something there, but there's the ceiling. To me, this would be an example of a player with a high ceiling, right? He is not a finished product. And I love hearing the late first love. When I first was learning about Matayo over the summer, I said, this is somebody that tends to profile as a first-round pick. Everybody was calling him top 100, but I said everything I heard had him profiled as a first-round pick. So I like hearing the two of you make it sound like I was right. So, that helps. Why don't we pause for podcaster identification? Dalton, do you want to let everybody know about Home Squad Sports and everything else that you do?
Yeah, I'm one half of Home Squad Sports, Daniel the other half. We do shows every Monday and Wednesday, cover college football, cover recruiting, go to a lot of games recently, go to a lot of Senior Bowl. Hopefully we get to go to that again this year, but we're always dropping different things every social media, so just give us a follow.
Chris.
You can check me out at lastcallpodcast.com. I'm also on the YouTube and Rumble channel, which is Last Call Podcast. I am on Twitter. I am on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. And yes, we talk sports. We talk sometimes even pro wrestling, MMA, and yeah, I always love telling people stories and just letting them talk and not interrupting them.
Sorry for interrupting you earlier.
No, not you. I hear about from other people. Like I'll hear other sports, people who interview people. Like, oh, they start jumping around and stuff. Like my feeling is, you're the guest. You are the special one. I'm just gonna throw the softballs and just sit back.
So this is the time of year I have to sit back and listen, because I like talking about these players, but like I learn better from listening than I do from reading. So this is my time of year. I'm absorbing everything I can on the players. It is real, like one of the things I'm finding really cool this year, right? Because we're covering defensive line on 3 different podcasts. This was the second time we've covered this group, and other than Saka, you guys, what the two of you said was almost identical to what had been said about each of the other players. And really, actually, what you said about Saka was the same. It was your grade that was different, right? You didn't describe the player any differently. You only described how you valued it. So next week, you guys get a big group. So this is going to be a fun podcast next week. So bring your popcorn, everybody. Mikel Kamara from Indiana, Ruben Bain from Miami, TJ Parker from Clemson, Keldrick Falk from Auburn, Caleb Banks from Florida, Dante Corleone from Cincinnati, LT Overton from Alabama, and Peter Woods from Clemson. So it's not going to get any better than the defensive line podcast that we're covering next week here. The Draft Professor is here every day, 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern. The 7 p.m. show next week is going to cover quarterbacks. The 9 p.m. show is going to cover defensive line. The Tuesday show early covers wide receiver. The Tuesday show late covers offensive line. The Wednesday show early is corner. The Wednesday show late is defensive line. The Thursday show early is going to be safeties. The Thursday show late is running backs. Friday early, we finish tight ends this week. Friday late, we do corners. We do offensive line on Saturday mornings. You will see Chris filling in on that this week. And then Sunday mornings, we do defensive line again. Our goal is to break down the whole draft class and podcast about every player drafted in rounds 1 through 5. So ultimately, when we're looking for new draft professors, we are looking for people that will talk about players in rounds 1 through 5. That way we can talk about, those are generally the core players that team building centers around. So that's what we're after. That being said, give Dalton a follow, give Chris a follow. Without them appearing once a week, this channel wouldn't function. So Dalton, Chris, I'm very appreciative for the efforts you're putting in to both prep for the podcast as well as showing up once a week. With that being said, for Dalton, Chris, myself, the 106 podcasters at the Draft Professor, thank you for being here, everybody, and we'll see you on a podcast again tomorrow.